Ladies and gentlemen, welcome this afternoon at the Phoenix International Raceway on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. 3 races remain in the season in the chase for the Nextel Cup Series Championship, and Jimmie Johnson, looking for his first career title, comes in with a 117-point lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. and as well a 122-point lead over Jeff Gordon. It has now slowly turned into a 3-driver race for the championship. All 3 still very much have a good shot to win it, and mathematically could be in the points lead at the end of this Checker Auto Parts 500 at Phoenix. This afternoon is going to be state of a great race, I can almost guarantee it. First time at Phoenix Raceway this season, and obviously the last time at that. With it coming in the chase being even more so crucial for the Cup Series today. We're coming off a great race at Atlanta last night. Caution-free, Jimmie Johnson led in dominating fashion, getting the win, leading 206 of the 325 laps in that race. The top 3 in the point standings finished 1 through 3. We'll see if we'll see more of that dominance from those 3 drivers again today. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as this race at Phoenix is about to begin. Jimmie Johnson on the pole for the first time since the chase opener at New Hampshire. Dale Jr. on the outside of the front row for the 5th straight race. He'll be on the front row in general as the green flag is in the air and the field charges down into turn 1. Jimmie Johnson clear off the exit of turn 2 at the Old Phoenix layout. Heading into the dogleg 2x2. Dale Jr.'s in the wall already, getting into turn 3, and he's going to lose multiple positions on the outside of the racetrack. And Jimmie Johnson will score 5 bonus points for leading lap 1 of 3:12. Billy Kramer, R6, welcome to the stream. All 10 drivers mathematically still have a chance to win the championship, though only 3 are in a very great position. I'd still say the top 5 logistically have a chance. Matt Kenseth being one of those drivers, of course, in 5th in the point standings. As you see him looking to the inside of Ryan Newman for 2nd place off the exit of turn 4. He's got the spot. Johnson leads lap 2. It's going to be a state of, can Jimmie Johnson extend this points lead out, or will it drop considerably heading into Darlington for the Southern 500 tomorrow night? Furfur Express, welcome to the stream also. Sunday afternoon action on the channel during this 2021 NASCAR off season. Christmas on the horizon in just a couple weeks. Hopefully you guys are prepping for that as well. And we're just going to hope for some good racing action. Our first race of the doubleheader today. Our next race will be a premiere at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later tonight for NASCAR 21 Ignition Career Mode at the Kansas Speedway for the Bushy McBush Race 400. That will be a full race highlight video. I'll be in the chat for that one throughout. Jimmie Johnson had a pretty good handling car in qualifying. No practice for the race, just stepped right out here in qualifying. Felt like he had a good setup. Obviously fast qualifying on the pole. Dale Jr. nowhere to be found, at least inside the top 3 right now after hitting the wall on lap 1, starting 2nd, and getting shuffled out of line. Phoenix is a very difficult racetrack to pass on even now, and I'd say even more so back in this stage, because you can't take that shortcut into the dogleg. There's grass, there's a curb there, versus right now, or I should say right now in real life, there is none of that. There's an apron, it's a little bit wider. You're able to really shortcut that corner, especially on restarts. The start-finish line, traditionally what is now on the back stretch, was the front stretch at this point in time as well. So very, very different racetrack compared to what we're used to now out in the desert. Got off work early. Hey, well, there you go. Welcome into the stream. Hopefully you enjoy your afternoon. Matt Kenseth's been putting a lot of pressure on Jimmie Johnson the opening couple laps after driving up to 2nd place. He went a little bit wide in turns 3 and 4 there, lost about a car length or so to Jimmie Johnson, but it's a 2-car breakaway at the front of the field for the time being. It's the final short track race of the season. Darlington, although races like a short track, is 1 1/3 miles in length and is considered an intermediate. That's just kind of a track of its own, especially in this 2004 Cup schedule. And then 1.5 miles at Homestead to round things out for the championship. later on this week. Oh boy. Johnson almost overdrove the corner a bit, had those left side tires down to the apron. He slid up the track. He goes. Matt Kenseth down to the bottom. Couldn't quite get underneath the 48 car, but he definitely gained that car length back that he lost a couple laps prior. Off work till Wednesday, man. Gonna watch some NFL. Yeah, my Packers play tonight. The premiere will end and my Packers game will start pretty much like right around the same time. So playing the Bears tonight. Not Bears. Always gotta like that rivalry as a Packers or Bears fan. Definitely the bigger grudge match of the season. Aaron Rodgers, last time they played the Bears, said he owned them, so I don't know if he was talking about the Bears or the fans of the Bears. Either way, he owns Chicago. We'll see if he'll do that again and put up similar performance tonight. I think the last time these two teams played on primetime television is when it was a season opener a few years ago, and Aaron Rodgers had a knee injury, left the game, came back in the second half, and pulled off a comeback when the Packers were down 20-3 in the second half, and Green Bay ended up winning the game late. I can't actually tell what the profile picture is as of right now. It's too small on my screen. I'd have to actually click on it to be able to see what it is. Does he still have COVID though? Oh, always. Yeah, they're coming off a bye week, so at least him and I mean that offensive line's been banged up all year. They're going to get a little bit healthier rest as well. So hopefully it'll help him out. I think Fields is back tonight for the Bears as well, if I'm not mistaken. Or I know he's healthy enough to return. I don't know if they're actually going to play him or not. After Dalton's performance last week, I would assume that they probably will. But then again, it is the end of the season. They're not playing for anything, so maybe they'll just rest him if they think Fields is going to be the future. It's a Mac Jones Santa. Well, that's unique. Well, Johnson wiggles again down into turn one, and here comes Kenseth. To the inside, off the exit of turn two, side by side for the lead now for the first time today. Kenseth's going to have the advantage into turn three on the bottom lane. Johnson going to try to hold on the outside for as much as he possibly can. He's going to side draft the right rear corner panel of Kenseth. Kenseth does not clear. Is he going to be able to get 5 bonus points this time? No, he does not. What a move by Jimmy Johnson to power through on the outside. He pulls clear down into one. Kenseth to the top. There's a little bit of contact. And Jimmy Johnson again holds on to the lead. What a power move on the outside in turns 3 and 4. Didn't allow for Kenseth to clear him at all in the center of the corner. He side drafted him just enough, beat him back to the gas, and he's able to clear him before they get into one. Kenseth tried to alternate crossover to the outside before they made contact just briefly there, and Johnson holds on to the race lead. Impressive moves like that out of Jimmy Johnson all season long is the reason why he's a championship favorite with 3 races to go, but it is not sealed by any means with 3 full races at that, especially with this game. One thing to look out for is how many cautions we may see in tonight's race. We didn't see any in 500 miles, 325 laps at Atlanta last night. Caution free, the race was over 2 hours and 44 minutes with an average race speed of 183 miles per hour. A super fast race. And now coming to one of the shortest races of the season as far as length, only 312 miles, 312 laps at Phoenix. This is not going to be a long race in general, as long as we don't have too many cautions that are going to pace it. A lot of the chase races, we've had a decent amount of cautions, typically 3 to 4 on average, but in some cases more, like Martinsville and Talladega. And then to go caution-free at New Hampshire and Atlanta, which are 2 of only 4 caution-free races this season, and kind of goes to show that as far as the caution layout during the course of the race, it's been very inconsistent compared to the regular season. Kenseth hooked up 3 and 4 a little bit better. Johnson was a little bit tight on the exit of the corner, maybe get back to the gas a bit too soon, but Kenseth couldn't get under him, and now Kenseth to the outside. He misses the corner at 1 and 2, and Johnson's going to pull him just a tad. Still a 2-car breakaway at the front. They only really battled side by side for less than a full lap. Definitely looking like the 2 faster cars on the short run for the early going of the race. And because we have not raced at Phoenix in the Cup Series in this game, I have no clue what the pit window is coming into this race. So we're just going to have to run it out. It's going to be the same thing for Homestead for the final race of the season. That'll be the only trip there. Though we have raced at other tracks that are a mile and a half in length, so we can kind of assume it's going to be that 58 to 70 lap range roughly. Phoenix, I have no clue. We've seen racetracks on the mile racetrack length at New Hampshire and Dover, where we could go around 100 laps, maybe just over 100 laps. New Hampshire was just a 2-stopper. Dover was a 3-stopper. So maybe we'll see a 2 to 3-stopper today at Phoenix, but no guarantees. And again, if cautions end up coming out, breaking up the run at all in any sort of way, if it becomes a potential fuel mileage race at the end, it's going to be even more of a guessing game, knowing that we wouldn't have an entire full run all season at Phoenix to be able to dictate how far you can go on fuel. So definitely going to have to keep a close eye on that throughout the course of today's action. Field's still very tightly bunched together from middle of the pack all the way to the rear. The track map at least looks like everything's just still congested together after that double file start. No trouble yet. NASCAR Thunder 2004. We had some big crashes at Phoenix in the 2 races there. Once in the custom schedule season, once in the actual season. We'll see if we bring some of that again today for this race. Patriots are on a bye. Well, that means you get to watch some other teams. That means you get to watch football casually, not on the edge of your seat this week. You just casually watch some football. That's what I ended up doing last week. I watched the Vikings almost blow it against the Steelers. That was Thursday night, but I didn't watch the end of it, though. I had to work the next morning. I heard about it, though. They were up big, and then I looked at the score at the end of the game. I'm like, oh, they made it close. And then I watched the highlights on my lunch break the next day. Such a Vikings thing to do. That was after they just lost to the Lions a week before. Oh yeah, that's right. You got your membership meeting today, Billy. Hopefully you have fun with it. I don't know what goes on in a membership meeting, but hopefully you have a good time. I've had golf memberships. So there's no meeting. I just literally. There's been a couple times I paid for it in the off season because it's usually cheaper if I pay for it before the new year. But I don't know where I'm gonna get my membership next year, so I don't plan on paying anything until golf season starts. Like Keegan needs to do an NFL channel. Why? Because I know a lot about football. I don't think I can be able to. I don't think, not with my current, state of full-time job. There's no way I could run 2 channels. I feel like I put so much time into this one, yet it's only like a couple hours of content on a day. And it's only because of live streams. There's just no chance. That, and I'm so much more dedicated to NASCAR than football. It's football season because NASCAR's over. That's the only reason. I always, tell people, that I either meet for the first time, because that's kind of like a talking point. The NFL is the most watched sport in America. So generally, when you see another sports fan or you ask if somebody's into sports, I feel like the general consensus is, "Hey, what's your favorite football team?" Or do you watch football? And I will tell them yes, but I will always tell them I'm a NASCAR fan first. So when NASCAR's done, it's full in on football. I'm all in with my Michigan Wolverines and my Green Bay Packers. But during NASCAR season, if the race is on, I'm watching the race. So unless it's a night game, and the race is during the day, or it's a night race and I can watch the game during the day, it's really the only time I watch the Packers and the Michigan Wolverines. It's a little easier to watch Michigan on Saturday because most of the races are on Sunday. So as far as my Packers go, I keep an eye on them, very close eye on them, but also can't quite watch every game during the season just because I know they'll intertwine with one another. Lap 33, caution free in the early going of this race as it's clicking by pretty quick as the laps typically do on 1 mile and shorter racetracks. Meetings with the board and vote new board. Oh, I was reading it and then it got retracted. Kenseth looking low off the exit of turn 4. Johnson beat it back to the gas, so Johnson going to block down into turn 1. Oh, Kenseth overdrives the corner really bad. Up the track he goes. And Johnson's out to almost a half a second lead just off the exit of turn 2 alone. I'm excited for the custom schedule season with NASCAR 05. I can't wait for it, but we got some business to get down to. I'm also excited to see how close this championship race can get in a couple of days at Homestead. Obviously, we're going to have to see what transpires both tonight and tomorrow night at Darlington. He's going to have to survive everything. Johnson's had a very clean race so far. He had a very clean race at Atlanta, which allowed him to dominate and win. So far, he's picking up where he left off. Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream. This is definitely before Jimmy Johnson was the best driver in our most recent NASCAR generation. This was the makings of it in the early to mid 2000s, at least in the Cup Series. Wouldn't have seen that so much in the Busch Series side of things. But when he got the Cup, well, him and Chad Knaus clicked immediately. Kenseth has kept pace, though, with Jimmy Johnson. He seems to, at least early on, be the biggest contender, trying to keep his title hopes alive. Kenseth had a DNF in the very first race of the playoffs at New Hampshire that kind of put him in a setback to start the chase. He's been climbing his way out of it, has now gotten back inside the top 5 in points for the first time all season, not just in the chase. And on top of that, for Matt Kenseth, and there we go, caution's out, lap 39, our first caution of the race. So already an early yellow after a caution-free race at Atlanta last night. Trouble in turn 4 for Dale Jarrett. Tony Stewart, chase contender, hits hard as well into the back bumper of the 88. Similar to the Martinsville crash a couple nights ago between Johnson and Gordon. Jarrett got loose off turn 4, got piled into. I believe Sterling Marlin was the other driver who got a piece of it. So a 3-car caution at lap 39. Jimmy Johnson going to pit from the lead. We'll see if anybody else will make their way in. They do. So good decision. Everybody will come into pit after the lap 39 caution. It'll be 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments for the 48. And the first pressure pit stop of the race, and now, after that first caution, everything will get congested together like it was at the start, and the two-car breakaway is no longer between Kenseth and Johnson. Members board me to improve course. Oh, gotcha. Oh, and already a mistake on the first stop of the day for Jimmy Johnson's crew. The Jackman has fallen over. This is going to be a lengthy pit stop for the race leader and the points leader. Jeff Gordon wins the race out of the pits. Kurt Busch second. Jimmy Johnson falls back 2 spots to third. That is 5 bonus points now for Jeff Gordon, leading under the caution. And Matt Kenseth, who was second on pit road entry, is nowhere to be found. He had an even worse stop than Jimmy Johnson. Green flag back in the air at lap 43. What a tough break that was. Johnson with a good restart, though, to the inside of Kurt Busch for second. But Jeff Gordon leads the way here at Phoenix. Hendrick Motorsports running 1-2. Kevin Harvick up to fourth. Now he's on the inside of Kurt Busch for third into one. Nope, not quite. Kurt's going to throw the block. So not a good pit stop for the 48 team in the quest for their first championship. And now the driver who comes into this race third in points, 122, back of Jeff Gordon, has found himself in a very good position after that first caution, winning the race out of the pit lane. Right at the front of the field with his teammate. So hard to pass here at Phoenix. That's why Johnson led the first 39 laps in front of Kenseth. Kenseth only got to the inside of him once. Couldn't clear him. That was his only opportunity to try and make the pass for the lead. Clean air and track position going to be key here today. Yeah, Johnson hasn't had a lot of pit road mistakes all season, but that is now the second one in the last 4 races. You have to go back to Charlotte. Was the last time we saw something similar to that. Going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Lap 47 as Hendrick Motorsports runs 1-2. Gordon's just driving it off a lot deeper than Jimmy Johnson, so Johnson's not able to really get a good run to be able to get underneath him. Gives Johnson a little bit better corner exit speed, but he doesn't carry as much speed going into the corner, and that's where the sacrifice is made. Jeff Gordon's leading some important laps here. Johnson, although he led the first 39, Gordon has led every lap since after winning the race out of the pits. He's trying to get himself back into this. Kurt Busch not going anywhere right now either. And because of that early caution at lap 39, we still have no clue how far these guys could go on fuel. They restarted at lap 43. So whatever math we have to do, if we can get to the next stop under green, that may have added an extra stop in this race as well. We have no clue how many stops we were maybe going to make going in. And lap 50, we still have no clue. Not going to know for quite some time. 3-car breakaway right now between Gordon, Johnson, and Busch. Kurt Busch, that is. Kyle Busch not in the Cup Series yet. Johnson being very patient, though, behind Gordon as well. He knows it's hard to pass. Just needs to have good, consistent performances, and he feels he can win the championship. He's got 122 points between himself and Gordon. And And he's trying to make sure the 97 of Kurt Busch doesn't get around him either, knowing that he's got speed off this restart. Gordon's had a lot wider corner entry as well, so it's very strange he's able to carry as much speed in with that wide exit. Johnson wiggled a bit. Getting into turn 3. Kurt Busch starting to fall behind now. Slowly but surely. At least Johnson was able to pass Kurt Busch on the restart. Unfortunately, he couldn't get around Gordon as well. Gordon not struggling with the handling of his car like Johnson is, tucked right underneath him. Johnson's hounding him. He just can't get around him. First time Johnson's been in dirty air all race. Thing is, if Jimmy Johnson tries to drive it in a lot deeper than Jeff Gordon, he'll be even with him on corner entry, but he's not going to be able to beat him back to the gas in the middle like he is majority of the time. So it's just kind of consistent train of things. I'm sure these two have equal setups in the race cars, considering that they are teammates. Again, these are the two most winningest drivers this season as well. So you got to also add that into perspective. 20 wins for Hendrick Motorsports this season, a modern era NASCAR record. 5 for Jeff Gordon, 15 for Jimmy Johnson. They're running first and third in the point standings. KCTC, welcome to the stream. Johnson overdrove 3 and 4 quite a bit that time. He's going to lose a little ground to Gordon. Trying to get it back on the front straightaway. Car's definitely turning a little too easy on corner entry. Another overdrive of turn 1 that time for Jimmy Johnson. Actually brushed the inside wall. So the dirty air only becoming more and more of a problem as we have somebody who has just blown an engine on the inside of the racetrack. Oh no! And Gordon checked up right in front of Jimmy Johnson. The lap car of Kyle Petty was down on the apron trying to get to pit road as he was up in smoke. Pretty significant contact between Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, and that drops Johnson back about 1.2 seconds off of Gordon now. The good news is maybe there's a little bit more clean air on the 48. Petty was on the apron about as much as he could go. Gordon maybe got a little nervous or something there, and he just completely brake checked Jimmy Johnson. I think Johnson was just expecting his teammate Gordon to roll around the outside of him, and that just wasn't the case. Mason Gutterman, welcome to the stream. Gordon is very quickly catching Jimmy Johnson right now as far as the laps led go. Johnson would like to find his way around him. Again, he's very loose. Rear tires, not a lot of grip on corner entry in the dirty air. Gordon got loose getting back to the gas off turn 2, though. Johnson closes quite considerably this time. He hasn't hit that curb down on the inside. I haven't seen anybody hit it yet either, and I don't think we want to see that today. That's how the wrecks were caused on NASCAR Thunder 2004. The last classic game playthrough. He's trying to go wide off the exit of turn 2, break out as much clean air as he possibly can. And just really looking to do something different to try and pass this 24 car, Jeff Gordon. So far, it just hasn't been the case. And he has not been able to get around him. No bots at the moment, that's true. We've only had 2 each of the last 2 races. Back to the far chase cam now. Lap 66. As far as I know, Kyle Petty's the first driver out of the race. I don't think the 3 cars that were involved in the opening caution back at lap 39 of Dale Jarrett, Sterling Marlin, or Tony Stewart are done. I believe all of them have continued with their damage in this race. Everybody pitted under that caution, so it can go quite a ways on fuel yet. We are not sure exactly how far, with this being the first trip in the Cup Series to Phoenix on this season, and for myself on this game with the full races, so still trying to figure that out as we go. Just gonna have to guesstimate here. At least there's telemetry of some sort in this game, so it's not a complete blind eye. It'll tell you when you're low on fuel, and it'll be accurate when that is the case, and you'll have to decide to pit or not accordingly. How much damage did 48 get from his teammate Gordon? Not much. It looked a lot more aggressive of a hit than what it actually ended up being. I would assume, at least. Both cars are seemingly alright. Doesn't look like there's hardly any damage really to the back of the 24, and we were seeing when we alternated through the different camera angles that the 48 seemed to be alright. Not really any damage there. Once again, trying a wider corner exit to turn 2. Trying to arc off the dogleg with that. Trying to find as much speed as he can to try and get around the 24 of Gordon. Just got to be patient with it. You can't go too aggressive in the early going of this race. Johnson's right there. That's the big thing. Just stay with him. You want that clean air, that track position, but that's just what Gordon's got. He had a much faster pit stop. Johnson's jackman fell over, making the mistake. And those are mistakes you cannot have this late in the season. Johnson just hit the curb for the first time. And the dog leg didn't throw him too much. Luckily. I don't think he got the left side tires all the way on it. Maybe only a part of the tire actually made contact with the curb. So that's probably why he actually was able to keep it pretty steadily. It didn't really jump the race car. I've seen the curbs even at Martinsville in this game jump the race cars. Curbs are dangerous in general in motorsports. In motorsport video games. In real motorsports. Real races. Gordon and Johnson are starting to close in on some lap traffic. That might create the first opportunity for Johnson to pass Gordon since the restart. There hasn't been any lap traffic yet today because the caution flew right before. At the time, it was Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth who were pulling away. Now after the restart, it's the Hendrick duo. Moves getting down into turn 1 for Johnson again. Trying to get around Gordon. Trying to go really wide again. Arcing off in the dog leg. Gordon throwing some blocks. Johnson really trying to back up turns 3 and 4. Oh, he overdrove the corner a bit. Slipped up the racetrack. Trying not to lift any extra, and he has to lift off the exit of the corner to keep it off the wall. He was really pushing hard as much as he could. And as we get closer to lap traffic, really trying to get around Gordon. For the first time that anybody has hit lap traffic in the race today. Johnson trying the outside into turns 3 and 4. I don't know if this is going to work. He hasn't really tried it yet. And Gordon's going to hang on in front. It's so hard to pass here at Phoenix. And that lap traffic is side by side right now with Scott Wimmer and then Jimmy Lane in the 169. Let's see if Johnson can pick Gordon behind Scott Wimmer in the 22. He's going to try. He gets to the inside of Gordon. Gordon led that lap at the line, but Gordon's not going to have anywhere to go with Wimmer in the way. He's going to try to go up the middle 3 wide, and it's not going to work. There just wasn't enough room to be able to pull it off, so Jimmy Johnson going to use Scott Wimmer, the lap car, the rookie, as a pick to get by his teammate Jeff Gordon. The only way, seemingly, he can pass the car here at Phoenix. It's the only pass for the lead on the racetrack we've seen today. The other one, how Gordon got to the lead, was again on pit road. Gordon may have the better pit crew, and that could be the deciding factor. Now Johnson's got to get through the lap traffic cleanly, and he passes Jimmy Lane through 1 and 2. So once Gordon lost that clean air advantage with the lap cars is when Jimmy Johnson was really able to close. Gordon passes Jimmy Lane in turns 3 and 4. And next rookie up is Johnny Sotter in the 30. I've said it a lot on the channel, but that AOL car brings back some memories. I don't know why. It just really like blue and yellow skis. Just scheme 2 with Sotter being a rookie, that the rookie stripes actually don't throw off the paint scheme on the back of it. It actually matches. Not like you're throwing rookie stripes on like an all red car or something. Johnson got about a half a second lead over Gordon as he gets to the inside of Johnny Sotter in turns 3 and 4. Russell Jackson, the 142, just up the way, generated rookie driver. It was about this point in the run where we saw the first caution. So they definitely got to the lap traffic, definitely a lot quicker considering they didn't get to it at all the last run. And Kyle Petty, presumably the only driver out of the race early on. That blown engine. Johnson pulling away from Gordon. Gordon not only struggled to get around the first lap car and lost the lead, but he's losing more and more time than Jimmy Johnson. Johnson is just getting through the lap traffic better. The 123 car, Johnson just cleared off turn 4, brushes the outside wall. And Jimmy Johnson's got his largest lead of the race at 1 second. Gordon probably led for just over 30 laps, 35 laps or so. Is really close to Johnson's 39 laps led before Johnson lost the lead, and Johnson was able to get the lead back before Gordon surpassed him in laps led. So Johnson's starting to grow that battle out a little bit more, as well as the actual interval between first and second itself as well. And very fastly approaching lap 100 here already, almost a third of the way through the race, and we're only probably about a half hour into the race in general. One caution in the early going, but even with a couple cautions here and there, it's going to be a generally quick race. One of the quickest ones of the season, and when the championship is on the line, it is just going to make it more and more intense. Johnson's picker is definitely going to have to step it up through the final 2 stops of the day, presumably 2 stops. Maybe 3. We'll just have to wait and see. Gordon's not losing any more time. Still about 1 second even. Johnson getting through the lap traffic pretty well, though. Gordon's finally starting to get through pretty well himself, though, also. Johnson definitely cannot afford to short pit. It just cannot happen for the first run at least, because we really need to find out how far he can go on fuel. Brian Vickers has a lot of damage to the front of his race car. He must have made some pretty significant contact with somebody in this one. Comment in the chat down below how many more cautions you think we're going to get the rest of this race. We're coming off a caution-free race at Atlanta, but we've had one at lap 39 already involving Dale Jarrett, Sterling Marlin, and Tony Stewart. Jarrett spun off in turn 4, backed it into the wall, and got piled into from behind by both of those drivers. Stewart the harder of the 2 licks, but Marlin did get a piece as well. And we can see Sterling Marlin in the 40 just up ahead. 2 cars, I should say 1 car in between both himself and race leader Jimmy Johnson. Billy says 2 more down in the chat. Pretty accurate. Again, it seems like most of the chase races we've had 3 or 4 cautions in a race. We had 5 at Talladega, 6 at Martinsville. But every other race we've had a caution. Dover we had 3. Charlotte we had 4. Atlanta, New Hampshire went caution free. I think that would be the 7 so far, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, Dover entered under a yellow flag as well. Santiago Kid's guessing that this is going to be like Martinsville. We're going to get 5 more cautions. Martinsville was a longer race, not only in laps, but just in general, 500 laps around a track that you get about 3 laps in a minute, versus this one you can get 2 in less than a minute, and it's only 312. So, even with the same amount of cautions, this will generally be a quicker race. The odds of those cautions coming out that frequent are going to be kind of few and far between. But it is more congested than a track like Atlanta. Atlanta being an intermediate, this being a short track, so the odds of there being more cautions are probably more the case here today. Johnson just hit about halfway on fuel at lap 94. So from lap 43 on the restart, you're likely looking at about 100 laps roughly that these guys could go on fuel, which would be about par for the course when you consider the last 2 mile and a halves that we raced at the Chase at New Hampshire and Dover. So if that is the case, this is probably only a 2 pit stop race to the finish from when they pitted under that first caution. Unless, of course, again, we get more cautions that sway the order a little bit. Still not going to know exactly how far until we get to the end of the run, but that's probably what I would assume the fuel window is going to be, right around that 100 lap mark, give or take. Lead has grown to about a 1.7 second lead now. A couple side-by-side lap cars, Robbie Gordon, Michael Waltrip. Michael Waltrip's been trying to help his teammate Dale Jr. out, both Martinsville and Atlanta the last 2 races. He's raced Jimmy Johnson really hard, so we'll see if do it again here. Johnson won both those races pretty calmly by the end. Was able to pull away late in both of them. One car in the wall off turn 4. Just goes to show it's so hard to hold it side by side off the exit of the corner here, which makes it even more impressive that Johnson was able to hold off Matt Kenseth when Kenseth got underneath him early. Matt was not able to get a lap led in to get 5 bonus points. We've only had 2 different leaders, and that has been Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. So only Hendrick Motorsport drivers have led the first 98 laps now completed at the line this time today. And they still run 1-2. So there's Waltrip. Johnson to the inside of him into the dog leg. Haven't seen rookie Casey Kane, who's still in championship contention in this one. We saw Dale Jr., who qualified second on the outside of the front row, getting the wall off the exit of the dog leg heading into turn 3. Lost at least a few positions there early on. Haven't seen him since. But even Casey Kane, who comes in quietly 4th in the point standings, as a rookie nonetheless, still a reasonable shot at the championship in the final 3 races. Haven't seen him at all today. Not at the front. We haven't seen him in lap traffic yet either. He's probably just having a quiet, consistent day, which is what he's done for most of the chase. Honestly, the strategy from here, with just over 200 laps to go at Phoenix, Johnson's got a 2-second lead. Just drive your own race. If I had to guess, we're probably going to get at least another caution or 2. And if Johnson's picker is going to fail him every time under the caution, like they did on the first stop, just kind of expect to lose a couple spots and just play it the way it's going to play out. It plays out naturally. You got to think big picture. Full bump and run there. Greg Biffle getting into the left rear of another Hendrick driver, Terry Labonte, with a bump and run. They battle on the lead lap for position right in front of the race leader. Labonte probably got to let his teammate go without a battle at all here. Johnson drives it deep into turn 3. Actually held onto it pretty well, and Labonte will let Johnson clear him. Johnson's not clear yet, but he'll clear him in 1 and 2 for sure. Johnson drives it deep in that end of the track. Didn't slide much. Biffle trying to crowd the 48. Trying to stay on the lead lap as much as he possibly can. Couldn't hold on too much longer, though. Ashton G, welcome to the stream. 9 people watching right now on this early Sunday afternoon race, so thank you for that. Like, share, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. You're currently watching the Checker Auto Parts 500 at the Phoenix International Raceway. A NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Just over 200 laps to go. 105 laps will be completed at the start-finish line this time by championship points leader Jimmy Johnson has led the most laps so far. Gordon's led just over 30 laps in this one in second. And Johnson has a 2.3, now 2.4 second lead off of turn 4. Had a caution back at lap 39. It's the only caution we've had so far today. Here's Dale Jarrett, who was the starter and, of course, was involved in that earlier caution. About to lose a lap. You can see the damage to the back of his car, specifically closer to that right rear corner panel. Johnson passes him and Mike Murphy. Murphy is going to bounce off the wall, and Jarrett almost got into the back of him off turn 4. So Murphy in the wall. Jarrett just about got into him, and Jarrett was almost involved in another caution. Reese Stolkup, welcome to the stream. Johnson wasn't able to get around Gordon until the lap traffic, and he was able to pull away since then because he couldn't pull away from Kenseth before the first caution. Not sure where Kenseth restarted, but he lost even more spots than Johnson. Johnson had a slow stop earlier on. So Nemechek's got some damage on the right front of his car as well. Looked like he had a little bit of damage to the rear of the car. Notice that we have seen a few cars sporadically in the field that Johnson has caught up to and passed that have damage. Like Nemechek, Brian Vickers had some. We obviously knew Dale Jarrett had some, as well as Sterling Marlin for the first caution. Even some drivers that were nowhere around that accident have had troubles maybe on the last restart. Everything was congested together again. For the most part, though, the lap cars being very respectful of the championship race for Jimmy Johnson himself, as they seem to be going wide, getting out of the way. They're not racing him hard, at least in the first half of today's race. We'll have to see if that will continue as the race progresses forward. We get closer to the checkered flag. For right now, everything's pretty calm. We know that we still got at least 2 more pit stops left. Like the paint booth in NASCAR 21 edition. Is that probably the only thing that everybody can universally agree that they like the game? I personally don't really care. I've never been one to play with the paint schemes. I always just like hopping in and racing. That's always my favorite thing with NASCAR video games. So I'm not really like artistically creative when it comes to like paint booths and just art in general. I guess my art is being able to paint a picture in people's brains while I talk. That's my art. Not so much actually putting that art on a canvas. A physical one. Mental one, yes. Not physical, though. I was always that kid that struggled to color between the lines. That was me growing up. I'm also partially colorblind, so that probably doesn't help either. So maybe the mental art was always destined for me, and the picturesque art was the latter of the two. I noticed Johnson clears lap cars off of turn 4, and that's when they tend to hit the wall. I think they just get caught up in that dirty air. They just get tight. Same thing just happened to Jeff Burton right there as Johnson cleared him, and now Johnson's got a lot of clean air in front of him before he catches another lap car. Pulled out to a 3.8 second lead. So again, we haven't raced at Phoenix yet this season until today. We haven't raced at Homestead yet this season. We have raced at Darlington, but it will be a longer race. Second time around will be the Southern 500, so 500-mile race once again this season. The first time we were there was a 400-mile race at the beginning of the season. It was race number 5. Jimmy Johnson finished 8th in that race. Remember, he had spun battling Kevin Harvick for the race lead on the final lap, and unfortunately was not able to get the victory. And obviously lost some positions in the process of doing that. No cautions come out in the final lap in this game, and that was really the only race, I think, in any series we've ran in this game. It has come down to something like that. Johnson was the only one involved. He just kind of lost control of his own car. He had old tires at the time. Couldn't hang on. That was early enough in the year. It was in the regular season as well. You don't want to do that in general and jeopardize a possible chase spot by the end of the year, but at least you know you have a lot of races to try and make that up. In this situation today, at a uniquely difficult racetrack at Phoenix, Johnson's done a great job keeping the car clean. He's taking his time. He's been fast. I mean, he hasn't been worse than third in this race the entire day, and the only reason he was back to third was because of a slow pit stop. Quarter of a tank of fuel left. Less than 200 laps left as well. Johnson again trying to take this run as far as he possibly can. Restart at lap 43. That's the estimated pit window. It's probably a lot easier to be more patient when you're the championship leader by just over 100 points compared to the one trying to chase, like Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are trying to do, and even Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth again are still in contention. Not just mathematically, but reasonably if they get some help. We know Kenseth's got a fast car today. Again, we don't know about Casey Kane. We haven't seen him yet, so we know he's on the lead lap at least. The only driver out of the race is Kyle Petty with that blown engine. Speaking of NASCAR 21 Ignition again, we will be having NASCAR 21 Ignition come back on the channel later tonight for a premiere at the Kansas Speedway. Coverage for that race is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will be a full race highlight video for the Bushy McBush Race 400. Johnson's got his largest lead of the race currently at 5 seconds. I'd say he definitely has the fastest car in the field today. Another reason why he could just be patient, he could relax. I'm definitely going to be practicing more for those last 2 races just to make sure everything's at the top shape. I don't want to choke away the championship at all costs. We were not able to win a championship on NASCAR Thunder 2004. And I know I won a championship in the modified the truck in the Busch Series with your guys as drivers that you fan voted for me to race as. Want to do the same with the Cup Series. Want to get that EA Sports Championship out of the way with the Cup Series. Obviously, it wouldn't be a season-long championship. We'll try to do that in the custom schedule season. Of course, NASCAR Thunder 2004 had the old Winston Cup points format. We'll have that again. But it will have to wait for the custom schedule season. But I will say, considering Johnson had just over a 200-point lead at the end of the regular season, and being the points leader right now, if it was a season-long championship, he would have over a one-race lead in points as of right now. It wouldn't be as close as what it is going into these final 3 races. Johnson drives it in deep, trying to make sure he was going to clear the 21 car, and did. Pretty good corner otherwise, though, for Jimmy. The next few laps, 48 has to pit. And we're taking this as long as we possibly can. We need to figure out exactly how far we can go on fuel. It'll verify with us when we have 1/8 of a tank of fuel left, which it has not done yet. And then it'll also verify us when we only have a couple laps of fuel left. And that is going to be about when we pit. So we still got a little bit over 1/8 of a tank as of right now for Johnson at lap 129. They pitted at lap 39 caution, but they went green at lap 43. So it's still going to be a rough estimate, only because of the caution coming out. It wasn't like it was a clean start to the race. Five to 10 laps if lucky. I feel like we could make it further than that. I'm guesstimating at least around 100 laps, which by the time we went green would have been about 14 laps ago from now, as of crossing the start-finish line at lap 130 at least. So a little bit of time, a little contact up there between Bobby Labonte and whoever's in front of him off the exit of turn 2. Can't tell. The car is out in front. I believe it might be Casey Mears in the 41. And we got some cars pitting off of turn 4, so green flag pit stops will start. Johnson's got about a 6-second lead. We know how much track position means here. And I believe second place is pit off of turn 4 as well. So Jeff Gordon is in the pit lane, trying to short pit on Jimmy Johnson. Johnson's going to stay out of the pits. He wants to know exactly how far he can push it on fuel. Plus, if we get a caution, it'd be extremely beneficial for him and could trap a lot of cars a lap or 2 down. Pit road not quite as long as what it is at Phoenix nowadays, but still only a 1-mile racetrack, so capability of losing a couple laps. Johnson just hit 1/8 of a tank of fuel now off of turn 2. Not every lead lap car is pit outside of Johnson. Jimmy's showing a 25.5-second race lead. So there's at least one other car on the lead lap that's still out there. Just saw Chase driver Tony Stewart coming out of the pit lane. Craven coming out of the pits, trying to get up to speed. He did a great job staying on the inside, staying off the curb, most importantly as well. Johnson was coming up pretty close on him. Matt Kenseth just pitted, so he was on the lead lap still, trying to stay out as long as he could, and perhaps get a caution. And Reynolds in the 151 car. Johnson to the inside of off of turn 2. Should pass him in 3 and 4 this time. Tony Walker on the outside. And I believe Casey Kane is still on the lead lap up there and has not pit. There's Kenseth coming out of his pit box. And Casey Kane pitting this time. He stayed out as long as he could. Johnson has a 1-lap lead on the field now because he has not made his stop yet. Everybody else has made their second stop. Jimmy has not. Trying to stretch his field run out as long as he can. Tires of importance here at Phoenix. There it is. Fuel tank almost empty. So Johnson going to continue to push here for a couple more laps, and then he'll end up pitting. Definitely the last driver out on the track, though. Not going to allow any other chase drivers to get a lap led in here unless somebody else can cycle out in front of Jimmy Johnson. Johnson had, again, a 6-second lead over, assuming Jeff Gordon was still in second. Also assuming that he was first into the pits. We had some drivers pitting before that. A lap before Gordon actually pit. Maybe somebody who was closer to him in third or fourth may have pit beforehand. Johnson going to pit at lap 141. So he'll stay out this time. He'll pit at lap 141. So from the restart, that is a 98-lap fuel window estimated for Jimmy Johnson. From the time we restarted after pitting the first time to now, with it staying green for almost 100 laps. So Johnson pits this time, 70 miles per hour again, pit road speed limit as it is on every track in this game. Johnson does not speed, carries it in very, very perfectly. 4 tires of fuel for the 48. Hopefully they can have a clean second stop of the day. The first one was not that. And he lost 2 positions under caution. It'll be harder to lose positions, but we know he's going to lose time with waiting a little bit longer to pit compared to Gordon and other drivers for position behind him. Clean stop for the 48 bunch, only 15 seconds. Johnson going to make his way out of the pits as he tries to get up to speed. Out on the racetrack, trying to stay down on the bottom and out of the way. He's got a lot of clearance ahead of him into turn 3. And although that lead has closed a bit, we'll see as Johnson gets up to speed off of turn 4. About a 4.8 second lead still. It was 6 seconds even. So he only lost about 1.2 seconds by staying out on the racetrack. Ideally, probably about 7-8 laps or so longer than Gordon. It's a pretty big difference, but not big enough to really throw a wrench in the strategy. So we continue to stay green. Chiefs just scored on a turnover on the first play of the game. Oh, man. My fantasy team's 8-5. I'm in 5th place all alone right now. Only 2 games out of first. Time's running out, though. Got like 5 weeks left. Try and get that trophy for the second time in 3 years. It'll be pretty cool. If I finish 4th or better, though, I at least get my money back. And I get a first-round bye for our playoffs. Contact. Johnson got into the left rear of Scott Wimmer off the exit of turn 4. Passes him cleanly on the other end of the track, though. Wimmer 2 laps down now in the 22 car for Bill Davis Racing. See if Gordon's made any adjustments to his race car to try and close that gap over the course of this run as well. It's going to be hard with a lot of lap cars between the top 2 on a track that's hard to pass, though. And Johnson primarily has not struggled in lap traffic at all today. We're almost halfway. At least one more stop to the end of the race. You know, Johnson could go 98 laps, pit at lap 141, so if he took it as far as he can, he doesn't have to pit again to lap 239, and that is within 98 laps to the end of the race. So if it does stay green, it's only a one-stopper to the end for everybody. Even if they only go about 90 laps again, it should be a one-stopper for everybody. Unless we get a caution some point during these runs. Chase driver Bobby Labonte in danger here of losing some time. Oh, we'll contact with Labonte. The middle of turns 1 and 2. A little more. Oh my goodness! Just knocked him into the wall now. Middle of the dog leg. More contact between the 18 and the 48. I got pretty ugly pretty quick. Everybody keeps it off of him. That definitely costed Johnson some time. He built the lead out to about 5.2 seconds again and got knocked just below 5 seconds, I'm sure. Bobby Labonte probably did not appreciate any of the contact. Johnson just... Really, the only time we even seen him remotely aggressive in this one. Just was overstepping the corners a bit too much. Bobby was putting up a clean fight. There's a little Johnson there. Damage not going to be too significant to either race car, though. And they'll just keep driving on. Remember how bad the Chiefs' defense was at the start of the season? Playing better now. Yeah, they definitely have picked up the slack. I mean, they just look like the Chiefs of old, within the last couple of years at least, not like the Chiefs at the start of the season. Because not only the defense was off, but the offense was also kind of stagnant too. But now, the offense is kicking butt, so is the defense. In recent weeks. They've definitely found their mojo at the right time. They're clicking late in the regular season. And they're definitely looking like championship contenders once again. Which I would not have said that probably 4 weeks ago. Cross flags that time by at the start-finish line. 156 laps complete, another 156 laps to go at the Phoenix International Raceway for the Checker Auto Parts 500. Our 8th race of the chase. Charlie Davis bottoming out up ahead. A 123 car. I haven't seen anybody hit the curb except for Johnson, and he only hit it once and didn't bounce violently at all. See, as drivers maybe get more and more aggressive as the race carries forward, if we may see something at that area of the racetrack. But for right now, everything's running pretty good. Another calm race. Kind of like yesterday at Atlanta, where the first 100 laps or so was kind of intense. It's kind of the same case again today, and then just kind of mellows out. We never had a caution at all yesterday. We did have one early on today. But obviously, this is the longer of the 2 green flag runs we've had so far. This one about to stretch just went over 125 laps now during this current green flag run. Already cycled through green flag pit stops during the run as well, as you guys saw about 20 to 30 laps ago. Chiefs play the Chargers. That should be a good game, too. That should be a good one. I do remember seeing ads for that when I was watching the Steelers and Vikings game the other night. That next Thursday those two played. Back to a 6-second lead again, which is where it was right before the green flag pit stop started at about lap 129 to lap 130. Interesting decision if we were to get a caution in the middle of this green flag run, if Johnson would pit or not, knowing it would be one stop to the end, regardless if you pit during the yellow or not, after the caution and after the restart, of course. Obviously, if you pit during the caution, it's 2 stops, because you still wouldn't be able to make it from pitting now to the finish. You know, Johnson went 98 laps, may be able to go another lap or 2. Beyond that, Johnson didn't want to risk it too much with a 6-second lead. He knew he was already going to lose a little bit of time, which again fell back to 4.8 by the time he came out of the pits. But a lot better second stop compared to the first stop for Jimmy Johnson under the caution, which maybe added a little bit more pressure considering it was a pit stop when everybody was coming in. It was early in the race, so everybody was on the lead lap. Versus a green flag stop in the middle of the race, maybe not as pressure packed to pit under green in that situation. Juices aren't flowing as much. Kind of becomes a normal day in the office. Those pit crews and pit teams. And it was just everyday procedure. I know I definitely can't wait for the Week 18 matchup between the Lions and Packers for the sole reason I'll be going there. Who knows what Aaron Rodgers is going to do this offseason? I personally have no clue. I think it's a 50-50 chance of whether he stays or not. I was very comfortable last year, even if you guys ever asked the question, where do you think Rodgers is going? I said he's staying with Green Bay for at least one more year. Packers absolutely do not want to get rid of him right now. They don't think Jordan Love's ready. And that was the case. And they were able to talk Rodgers into staying for at least one more year. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that for the longevity. I probably lean on the side that he's gone at the end of the year, but I do think it's 50-50. It's really up in the air. And, whatever, people at major corporate networks like ESPN or anybody wants to say, something otherwise, saying, oh, he's absolutely gone or he's absolutely staying. Usually, and it was the case last season too. It seemed like everybody was like, "Oh no, he's absolutely not staying there." And look what happened. When you actually break apart piece by piece and look at it logistically with an open sense of mind of all possible situations, I feel like your estimates and guesstimations tend to be more accurate than what it would be if you just go in there with your strict objective opinion. And it's not just, I guess that's more of like something in life, not so much the the sports world or the free agency world and sports or football or NASCAR or whatever it may be. I think you could take those kind of characteristics with life too, where if you're just willing to listen to others' opinions, and not saying it has to change your own, but if you look at every objective possible, you tend to have a better not only perspective of what other people are thinking, but a better judgment and perspective of your own that can maybe you don't have to agree with somebody 100%, but you can influence some of their opinions into your own and maybe actually come up with a better overall opinion on a particular subject. There's my life lesson of the day. I guess that you guys can carry forward. Helps people become more understanding of others. Makes the world a better place. Well, 7.2 is the difference between first and second. No clue if Jeff Gordon's still in second place following the first set of pit stops. I would assume he probably is, considering it was a two-car breakaway. Kurt Busch kind of broke away on his own as well earlier on in the race, and then he fell off after about 20 laps. Couldn't keep up with the 24 and the 48 over the course of the long run. And that was even before they hit lap traffic. Johnson wiggled a bit, almost made contact with Derek Cope. Cope may have brushed the wall off the exit of turn 4 as well. Maybe he didn't, I don't know. He stayed pretty close behind the 172. Well, that one prediction we had in the chat of seeing possibly 6 cautions in the race today, I don't know. I can see why you might have said that, because the last short track in Martinsville had 6. And then this race had our first caution at lap 39 that, we might have been on pace for something like that, but it has obviously mellowed out since. By far the longest green flag run of the race. And it is vastly approaching 150 laps on this current green flag run, which would be very close to about half the race in general. I still don't think we're going to go green to the end, although I didn't think we would go caution free all the way through Atlanta. the closer and closer we get to the end of this race without a caution, the more and more it will likely stay green. But I did say middle of the last fuel and tire stint before we made that first stop, I felt like we were going to get another caution or two in this race. Just kind of have that feeling the way Jared spun on his own off of turn 4, that the lack of grip on the long runs is going to start to cause these guys on older tires to lose more traction control. We've seen other drivers hit the wall off the exit of turn 4 in particular, with a much tighter exit to that corner versus the exit of turn 2. Probably plays into an effect as well. Jimmy Johnson has to like the way that this is played out, though, between... Obviously, he won at Martinsville, a little more chaotic throughout the course of that race until about the final 40 laps. He was finally able to pull away for the first time all race long. But between the last 40 laps of that race, Atlanta, where he just kind of flat out dominated, today, where he's just flat out dominating, the championship has to be right in his lap at this point, even with the tighter points battle coming in still. That's the thing. He's been having comfortable finishes and comfortable races. You look at a guy like Dale Jr. Yes, Jimmy Johnson has won the last two. Dale Jr. finished third in both races. So that's just unfortunate. Michael Turner predicts that final 270 laps will be green to the finish. And that would be the exact green flag run to the end if this didn't stay green. Pretty straightforward as far as how it would play out. We know everybody can make it on one more stop. Still going to be a little bit before we see anybody pit. May see some drivers pit right as soon as that window opens with just less than 100 to go, which would be less than 30 laps from now. Oh, Johnson a little wide in the dog leg. Bit of a mistake there. It's only the second time he's even hit the wall in this race today through 186 laps. The other time was after contact with Bobby Labonte, but although he was the one that made contact with him, he got tight underneath the 18. There's Brian Vickers. He still got a little bit of that front end damage that we saw the first time he lost a lap. Now he's about to go 2 laps down. Casey Kane's been clinging on to the back half of the lead lap cars for quite some time. He may be in danger of going a lap down for the first time today very shortly if he does not get a caution. Johnson clears Robbie Gordon off the exit of turn 4, as well as Brian Vickers, passing 2 lap cars in that corner. A couple of Chip Ganassi dodges right around the Evernham dodge of Casey Kane. He's got Sterling Marlin, Jamie McMurray around him. Marlin already 1 lap down. McMurray, I believe, is on the lead lap. He's had a quiet but solid day. We haven't seen anybody blow an engine since Kyle Petty earlier in the race as well. Petty blew an engine right around lap 50, so it's been quite some time. We only had 5 engine failures last night at Atlanta, and that was a 500-mile race on a mile and a half, so quite surprised we didn't see more in that race. Probably what helped lead to a caution-free event as well. Sure, that definitely didn't hurt the reason why it went caution-free. More congested part of the field coming up ahead for Jimmy Johnson as far as lap traffic is concerned. Trying to put championship contender Kasey Kahne the lap down. Kahne's going to battle hard, although he could still be the first driver to lap down. Looks like Kahne's going to be stuck behind the lap car of Earl Hall in the 184, and he's going to get picked. Just making Johnson's way easier to get around him. Jimmy just hit halfway on fuel at lap 191 into turn 3. So Kahne is a lap down. And Jimmy Johnson now has just clinched the most laps led already, leading all but just over 30 laps in this race. And still only 2 cars have led in this one, of Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, with the lead changing hands just twice. So just 2 lead changes in this race. We stated right at the start of the race, passing was going to be very difficult in this one. Kenseth struggled to get around Johnson when he contended early on. Johnson struggled to get around Gordon until lap traffic came. Was the only reason he really got around the 24. And Gordon hasn't been able to get back to him since. Pretty much been it. Jamie McMurray now just went a lap down, so Kasey Kahne going to try to pass him. Closed in quite a bit in turns 3 and 4. Murray stuck on the outside. Kasey wants to get around and try to get back in that free pass position. Last car on the lead lap, I believe, is Matt Kenseth. It could be Scott Riggs. I'm not entirely sure if Riggs is on the lead lap or not. I know for a fact Matt Kenseth is in that 17 car. Another championship contender, top 5 of the point standings. I think Kahne and Kenseth can fall out of contention today, though, especially if Johnson wins, regardless of where they finish. I think it's going to be a very slim chance, unless Johnson goes out and DNFs one of the last 2 races, that it would give those guys a chance. He'll probably have to DNF and finish outside the top 10 in another race on speed, which, considering Darlington's the next race and it's the Southern 500, probably one of the more difficult races to make it to the end. I'm not saying that that would be impossible. Have to be within 156 points to be within 1 race worth of points. Max amount of points you can score in a single race is 190. That's if you win and lead the most laps. Least amount of points you can score finishing 43rd and not leading the lap is 34 points. So the difference is 156. That's as many points as you can make up in 1 race. So if you were outside of 156 points going into the final race, you will not have a chance to win the championship. And going into tomorrow night's race in the Southern 500 at Darlington, if you are outside of 312 points, you will not have a shot to win the championship. So although we came in today with 10 drivers mathematically still having a shot, they were all within a 472-point window that they could have mathematically at least had a chance. That will not be the case, though, going forward. Shouldn't say 472. It would have been 468. Would have been the magic number coming into this race. Kenseth on the outside in 3 and 4. Johnson down on the bottom. Not much of a fight here for Kenseth. He's got some donut marks on the left side of his race car, cutting off the number 1 on the 17. Johnson drives it deep into 1 and 2. Clears Kenseth off the exit of the corner. And now Matt Kenseth is the first car 1 lap down. Kasey Kahne's in a trouble spot here. You can see his championship hopes slip away. Yeah, 468. Yeah, I corrected myself. I knew I did the math wrong the first time. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't seem right. 468 was the magic number. So you're not going to see all 10 chase drivers stood in this race going forward on the left side of your screen, considering that we're going to see quite a few drivers get knocked out of contention after the checkered flag, probably in about an hour or so. Johnson does not plan on short pitting. Going to stay out as long as he can. He's got a 12-second lead, so if he loses a few more seconds again because of other drivers short pitting compared to him, he's got time to give up. He'll just take on fresher tires at the end of the race from there. If it stays green, I don't see any way how Johnson could lose this race unless he speeds on pit road or, I mean, really, that's going to be about it. And even if he speeds, it's only a 5-second penalty. He'd still probably come out with the lead. Lap traffic could cost him time, but it's going to be tough to cost 12.2 seconds of time. Unless there's some major adjustments that are made on those drivers running second, third, fourth on back. That could try to get them in contention here late. Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, bigger clump of lap cars. Terry Labonte, Michael Waltrip already one lap down. We know the main championship contenders, the main three of Johnson, Gordon, and Earnhardt are all in the lead lap. Johnson wiggled big time in turn one, trying to get to the inside of his teammate Labonte, couldn't quite do it. Silver drove the corner a bit. Now he'll get underneath him in turns 3 and 4. Waltrip going to give plenty of room to the 15 as well. And Waltrip in the wall. Got crowded a bit. Contact between Waltrip and Labonte. Labonte makes a great save down to the inside of the racetrack. Waltrip didn't have much room for error there, and he got into the wall and side-slapped the 5, who got very loose down the front straightaway. Luckily, Labonte saved it. We stay green. Last thing Jimmy Johnson wants right now is a caution. Put everybody back in contention again. Jesus Manuel Ortiz, welcome to the stream. Well, driver championship, yeah, the constructors title still went to Mercedes today, but I didn't watch all of it. I missed the start of it. I watched about the last 30 laps, about the second half of the race. A confusing as hell finish to that one. As a non-Formula One fan, it's kind of, yeah, it was really hard to follow. The commentators were doing a great job of making it easy to follow, but then it just felt like that last caution lap to the last lap of the race, which was the only green flag lap of the final 7 or 8 that they ran because of the safety car being out. It was really confusing because it was almost like they were leaning on, oh, they can't get this race going yet. You know, there's going to be no way. It's probably going to end under caution, and then, oh, they're not going to let the lap cars through. Oh, wait, they did let the lap cars through, but then they didn't let all the lap cars through like they usually did. Then they just waved the green flag, and it was like, okay, here we go. One lap to decide the championship. And that's why I posted in the community tab that fans say that NASCAR's got some inconsistencies with their officiating calls. And with a championship on the line, at least, I have not seen NASCAR make a bad decision as far as, in a championship race like that where they, should have waved the caution, shouldn't have waved the caution. I've never seen it, and in that situation, they were under caution. they had to throw the safety car out for obvious reasons. There was a crash. There was a car parked literally in the racing lane of the racetrack. They had to have a safety car to get the car out of the way, get the safety crew out there, pull all the debris. But yeah, it just felt very rushed. Very, very rushed. It felt sloppy, honestly. It felt rushed and sloppy, I guess is probably the best way to describe how that finished off. Lewis Hamilton was just put in an absolutely terrible position. Terrible position. And I'm not saying it was the right or wrong thing from the FIA to have it go green. You know, I don't watch F1 enough to know exactly the consistency in the calls there. Based off the commentator side of things, it wasn't very consistent, but they were trying to get the race to finish under green, which I completely understand because that's the case with pretty much any motorsport. I think that's just a universal thing. You can get the race to end under the green, the better, especially when there's a championship on the line like there was today in one of the closest points battles of all time in Formula One. So I think it was just kind of like an unfortunate circumstance of how that played out. But it took about, 40 to 50 lap fresher tires for Verstappen to actually be able to run fast enough laps to, have a chance to get around Hamilton. And he had to be lined up right behind him because even when he had 20 lap fresher tires, he was not, he was faster, but when he had 16 seconds back, he only cut the lead down to like 10 seconds over the course of like a 20 lap stint. He was only 6 seconds faster over 20 laps with 20 lap fresher tires, which is kind of crazy, just the pace of Hamilton. Wild, and I'd say probably more controversial way to finish it off. It felt weird. Again, as a non-Formula One fan, maybe that's normal, you know, but it just felt weird the way things ended because it was like you almost felt that Hamilton probably should have been the champion, but it just wasn't the case. NASCAR Nitro, welcome to the stream. You need NASCAR Heat 5. Well, I did have NASCAR Heat 5. I actually still have it because I have the physical copy, but I deleted the application, so I'd have to re-download it. I don't plan on running NASCAR Heat 5 again. This is a far better game. If we're not going to race NASCAR 21 Ignition, I'm perfectly fine with this. Well, obviously, we still do NASCAR 21 Ignition. Again, later on tonight, there will be a premiere at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, next episode of the Career Mode. I won't live stream every Career Mode episode, but I will live stream Career Mode episodes for the bigger races of the season. Got green flag pit stops going on right now. We're within the fuel window to make it to the end of the race, so some drivers are short pitting as we have less than 100 laps to go at Phoenix. Second time Johnson's hit that curbing today, both times kind of casually ran it over. It doesn't seem to be as bad as what it was in NASCAR Thunder 2004. With contact to the left rear of Nemechek. Nemechek's already got some damage to the back of his race car. More towards the right rear, maybe a little nudge on the left rear as well. Well, Roush cars Jeff Burton, Drake Biffle, right around the 48. Johnson, for the second straight race, has just relatively kept his car perfectly clean. At least so far. Still got 90 laps to go this time by. We are entering into the third and final pit stops of the race. Caution early on didn't add a stop. See if we get any late yellows if anybody decides to pit. I think knowing how important track position is, I think Jimmie Johnson's straightforward. Pit when you have to under green. Take this run as far as you can. If we get a caution, you got to stay out as the leader. And kind of like what happened in the F1 race earlier, might be a vulnerable position Johnson may put himself in, but it's probably the safer position at the same time. Who's to say we restart 8th and we finish 6th, 7th, 8th because of how hard it is to pass, versus at least if we maybe lost a spot on old tires on the restart, we can hang on to 2nd, 3rd, 4th. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So I believe 2nd place is already short pitted. I would assume a lot of other drivers have as well here. Not everybody on the lead lap has pit though. Weren't too many cars on the lead lap to begin with when these most recent green flag stops started. So more of the drivers towards the front of the field will pit this time by off of turn 4. Might have been the last car in the lead lap. That was not Jimmie Johnson. Tough to tell who that was. You can tell if that was Kurt Busch or Dale Jr. Looked like a darker car when we passed by, but it's hard to tell because of how fast we passed by the pit lane. Johnson's got a 1-lap lead on the field. If we were to see one more caution in today's race, right now would be the most ideal spot for Jimmie Johnson. He's got 1/8 of a tank of fuel left. He's going to stay out as long as he can. He had about a 16-second lead before the pit stop started. So he feels very, very comfortable. And that was Dale Jr., by the way, who was the last car to hit the pit lane. So Dale Jr. just exiting pit road. You'd think everybody on fresher tires, except for Johnson, they'd be able to keep it clean, just in case. It's not going to hurt Johnson to stay out of the pits. It'll only help, in all reality. Less than 2 weeks till Christmas, yep. Crazy. I got most of my shopping done. But honestly, I've got everything done. I'm just waiting on getting stuff from Amazon still. There's quite a few things I haven't received yet. But outside of that, yeah, I'm done. Pretty much got it all finished up on Thursday after my doctor's appointment. So we have some lap cars that haven't pit yet. Here's Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth, who are a lap down right now. We're probably running 2nd and 3rd. Probably tried to stretch their run as far as they could again. 98 laps into this run would be lap 239 would be the next scheduled stop for Jimmie Johnson, so that's probably where we're looking at him pitting next. We're at lap 233, so about 6-7 laps away from Johnson hitting pit road. Passes the 21 of Ricky Rudd in the dog leg. Chiefs start board on the Raiders. They're probably still in the first half. Not even 2 o'clock yet. My time, at least. Crazy. Has to wiggle quite a bit in turn 4. Trying to pick the throttle back up on these extremely old 90-plus lap tires. And he didn't lift any extra. He kept it off the wall. He's got the 77 of Brendan Gaughan, who's outside. We'll lose another lap momentarily. 21-0. Definitely seeming like the Chiefs of old again today. Lap 96 during the fuel run for Johnson. He's going to make it 2 more laps before pitting. Make it 2 98-lap runs for him. Run to the checker will be less than 80 laps. 43 car in the wall off of turn 4. Johnson crowded him a bit. Still a clean pass for the 48 down low. It's got a little tight. Not a big shocker getting tight off the exit of the corner with these old tires. Johnson going to stay out 1 more lap. Just kind of hoping and praying for a caution. He doesn't get it, he knows he's got it done. And he knows also after he pits, he definitely doesn't want to yell. So Johnson will pit this time, 98 laps into the fuel run. 4 tires of fuel for Jimmie Johnson. It'll be the 3rd and final stop of the day. Almost a speeding penalty. That was really close. Got him down to 68 right at the commitment line. Almost carried too much speed in there. Didn't want to make that kind of a mistake late. Here we go. The money stop for Johnson. They're 1 from 2 today on trying to complete good pit stops. Clean stops at that. And out of the pit lane goes Jimmie Johnson. So get up to speed. Right in front of Tony Walker. See this lead climb down for a bit. I'm going to pause it for a quick second so I can put the chat back up. I don't know why I exited out of the chat. All right, there we go. Cowboys playing sometime tonight. Probably the 4 o'clock slate because I know the Packers and Bears game is the primetime game tonight. Amari Cooper better do something on my fantasy team this week. He has either been out for COVID or he has just done absolutely nothing the last few weeks. In 4 weeks in a row, he scored 6 or less points for me. Five after last week. Now, he missed 2 games for COVID, and then he scored 2, 4, and 6 in the other 3 games. He's not getting that many targets, though. That's the big thing. He went off for 2 touchdowns and like 160 yards the first week I picked him up off free agency. And he has done nothing since. Helped me for 1 week, and that's it. $69 laps to go this time by. You're watching the Check Our Auto Parts 500 at the Phoenix International Raceway. Still just 1 caution on the day so far. This is now a 201 lap green flag run. Our only caution was at lap 39. Restarted at lap 43. A 3-car accident involving Dale Jarrett, Sterling Marlin, and Tony Stewart. Johnson lost a little bit of ground again with those green flag stops. So that's because he waited to pit about 15 laps or so after the second place cars had pit. His lead from 16.8 seconds down to about 14.8, but still very, very comfortable. If this goes green to the end, no reason why Jimmy Johnson cannot win this race today and make it 3 wins in a row. And it would be 4 wins in the last 5 races, 5 total in the chase through the first 8 races. This is just insane what Jimmy Johnson really is trying to accomplish here late in the season. Just think he only had a 25-point lead 4 races ago. And just how quickly he has been able to up the lead to 117 just with these consistent finishes. He still has not finished outside the top 10 in the first 7 chase races. We mentioned he's got 4 wins in the chase, 2 in a row, 3 in the last 4. But even the races that he has not won in the chase, he's got top 10. 2nd at Dover, 10th at Talladega, 9th at Charlotte. We got another car blowing an engine down on the inside of the racetrack. We got some cars checking up. It's Elliott Sadler. So Elliott Sadler has now blown an engine. Off the curbing goes Johnson. Caution's out! Lap 247. Somebody just piled into Elliott Sadler in the dog leg. And that will add drama late. Oh, big hit. Tony Walker in the 198 piles into Elliott Sadler, involving Ward Burton and Joe Nemechek as well. After Sadler blew an engine, off the curbing went Sadler back across the racetrack. A 4-car pile up in the dog leg. And we have a caution. Johnson will stay out of the pits. We'll see if anybody else will make their way in. It didn't sound like they did. Not sure who got the free pass there. A late caution, only our 2nd of the race after Sadler blows another engine, but this time it brings out a yellow. Green flag is back in the air with just north of 60 laps to go as Johnson leads the field to the green. Quickly got down in front of the lap car of Newman, but he overdrives the corner now off the exit. They're 3 wide with Newman and Kenseth underneath him. Johnson trying to hold on as they are 3 wide. Very little room for error. Contact on the outside. He's wide. Gordon to the bottom of the track trying to get to the lead. Track position is key at Phoenix. It has been all day. Johnson fights him hard on the top and he holds on. Gordon gonna send it deep into turn 3. He gets into the 48. Up the track goes Gordon into the wall in turns 1 and 2. He knocked his teammate into the wall as well as Johnson holds on to the race lead. Gordon loses crucial track position. Kurt Busch is up to 2nd now. Kenseth and Newman back on the lead lap momentarily. $60 to go at the line that time for Jimmy Johnson. Survives a late restart to hold on to the lead for now. But once he gets to the 12 and the 17, we'll have to see if he can stay in front of Kurt Busch, or Busch might have some help from his teammate Kenseth. Kenseth's still in championship contention, so he's going to try to fight for all accounts and purposes. Boy, business has picked up. If anybody was sleeping or thought that this race was long over, it's far from it now. Johnson's got about a half a second lead on Kurt Busch. But he's going to be back in the dirty air when he gets close to the 17 and the 12, and that has been a problem in trying to pass cars today. Could create an opportunity. And how far back did Gordon fall? If you're overdriving turns 1 and 2 into the left rear of his teammate Jimmy Johnson, battling for the lead. Big chain reaction of events there, going 3 wide on the restart. Lap cars being on the inside definitely was a big cause of that. Didn't help Johnson overran 1 and 2 on the restart, just carried too much speed in, trying to make sure he would clear the 12. Kenseth on the outside. Johnson going to stay really low off the exit of turn 2. Now he'll go up and try to side draft the 17. He needs to make a quick pass on him. Hits the curbing, keeps it going. And he'll clear Kenseth in 1 and 2. Newman's getting away. Kenseth couldn't really battle Johnson too much there. Kenseth first car lap down. Try to hold on to the free pass position. I'm sure he'll let his teammate Kurt Busch through, but outside of that, I don't think that will be the case. Kenseth going wide in 1 and 2. Kurt to the bottom. So the Roush Fenway teammates and both Chase drivers working together. Johnson's still got 1 lap car in front of him. Ryan Newman, they may catch lap traffic to the end of the race still. They caught him after about 35 laps, the last green flag run. We'll see if that'll be the case again here. Though everything is a lot more bunched together with the double file start than the single file start last time. The single file because nobody was lapped down after the first caution. Second caution, a lot of cars were lapped down. So it was double file through most of the field. So a little bit more compressed together as you saw compared to the first restart of the day. And who's to say we won't get another caution late? After a over 200 lap green flag run between cautions. Couldn't be a late season race without any drama, of course. Again, that's typically universal in any motorsport, even in the video games. Ryan Newman's got some good pace right now. Obviously, he's a lot of no track position ahead of him. Just simply clean air. Busch got around Kenseth. He just does not have the speed that 48 does, and I think the only one that may be able to contend would be Jeff Gordon, who lost some track position. He's going to have to hope for another caution. Johnson gets a little loose over driving 1. Turn 3, old turn 1. 50 laps to go this time by. Possible that I could run on field? No. Everybody's good on field to the end. Nobody pitted during that last caution. Everybody can make it. Johnson pitted with just over 70 to go. He's made it 98 laps each of the last 2 fuel stints. That caution will only help him save laps as well. He's 28 nothing. My goodness. Having a field day. Johnson slowly closing in on Newman. Let's see how aggressive Ryan Newman will be. Trying to stay on the lead lap in front of Jimmy Johnson, the points leader and race leader. Johnson again has clinched the most laps led today. He's running away with it again, a 1.4 second lead. Outside of that restart, though, again, it's been a pretty clean day for Jimmy Johnson. Got to be paranoid at the point that hopefully you don't see another caution. I figured we were going to have 1 or 2 to the end of the race from what I stated way back at about lap 100. Well, we got 1. It took a while for it, but we got 1. Everybody's still racing for position. I'm sure Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon are being very aggressive, trying to get the best finishes they possibly can. As far as I know, they're both on the lead lap. We know Gordon's on the lead lap. Haven't seen Dale Jr. in a while, but I don't believe Johnson ever lapped him at all, so you would assume he's on the lead lap, likely looking at a good finish as well. The goal today, try to cut into that lead as much as they can by beating Jimmy Johnson, even if it's only by a couple positions. And then just set up for Darlington to hopefully be that race where they can really close in a lot. It's a long race, it's a crown jewel event, very difficult racetrack. Most difficult, I'd say, in NASCAR. That was your prediction. Your prediction was also 1-2. I do remember you saying that. That was also my prediction. Let's caution start to breed cautions late. I feel like if that would have been the case, we would have had a yellow off that crazy restart, but we never did. Jimmy Johnson's closed on Ryan Newman. He's going to need to get around him quick. He's on the inside of Newman, trying to get there in the dog leg. He's going to drive it in deep into turn 3. New turn 1. The old turn 3, and he clears Ryan Newman up the track. Oh, he back in the gas too soon, though. And Newman's going to cross him back over. Johnson back to the inside, trying to double cross him in turns 1 and 2. Newman's definitely trying to race Jimmy Johnson. Johnson clears him in the dog leg, and the lead has dropped down about 0.4 of a second over the last lap and a half now. Battling with Ryan Newman. And now, Johnson has clean air in front of him and is hoping to grow the lead back out once again. Never made contact with Newman, so that's good, but obviously it took him a little bit more time to try and pass him than what he would have hoped for. I don't think Kurt Busch is in second place anymore because Johnson lost another 1/10 of a second that last lap. Just start calling Ryan Newman Mr. Kidney Stone. Now second place is going to have to try and get around Ryan Newman as well. They're side by side off the exit of turn 4. There's still plenty of time left in this race. We have 35 laps to go. I don't know if Johnson's got the fastest car on the racetrack all of a sudden. Adjustments could have been made during that final stop for somebody who didn't have the track position on the restart. It's just finally made their way through, or maybe it's Jeff Gordon who lost the track position on the restart, despite originally being in second and actually getting to the inside of Dale Jr. on multiple, or Jimmy Johnson rather, on multiple occasions. Really tough to tell who that car is. And Johnson and Gordon are the only two who have even led laps in the race today. Lead down to 7/10 of a second at the start-finish line with 33 to go. It is one-on-one. There's no lap traffic for right now, at least. And obviously, Johnson's got the clean air. That's going to be of the utmost importance, because it has been so hard to pass the driver with the clean air all day long. That's why we've only had 2 lead changes this entire race, even with multiple restarts. Johnson's starting to grow the lead out again. About 9/10 of a second. He's gained 1/10 and a half over the last lap and a half to 2 laps. And like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. 29 laps to go at the Phoenix International Raceway for the Checker Auto Parts 500. This time by 2 races to go in the chase when the checkered flag flies here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Johnson had at one point a 16.8 second lead. It was his largest lead of the day. Then he had a 1.4 second lead in the middle of this run. Second place started to close in. It got down to 7/10 of a second. It's back to 1 second flat at the line that time. Johnson started to pick up the pace a little bit. See, fastest lap of the day for Johnson is a 27.915. Last lap was a 27.960. To see what this lap will be at the start-finish line, as he gained about another 1/10 of a second through 1 and 2 alone. This lap for Johnson, 28.032, so dropped off a little bit that time, and I think most of it was in turns 3 and 4. Johnson just trying to be perfect from here on out. Just have to go with a full tire stint. Still have to go about 70 laps on them. So they will get a little bit older. Going about 3/4 of the way through the run. Out to 1.2 seconds. Johnson gradually throwing the lead out. Saw him bottom out off the exit of turn 2 there a little bit. It's kind of odd. I haven't seen that all day today. Halfway through the field run. Plenty of leeway on fuel to the end of the race for the entire field. Not worried about it. Came in as a 3 pit stop day, even with the 2 cautions, still 3 stop day. Largest lead of the current green flag run for Johnson. A 1.5 second lead at the line, 21 to go. Next race is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Southern 500 at the Darlington Raceway. Presented by Mountain Dew. That'll be the final Crown Jewel race of the year, and it will be race number 9 of the chase. 20 to go. We're going to start the next season for Heat 4 tomorrow. I don't know when we're going to start the custom schedule season for this. I'm probably just... I mean, we got 4 different custom schedule seasons with the Modifieds, the Busch Series, Cup, Truck. I don't know how I'm going to split that up. You may see it next weekend. I'm not entirely sure, but just have to wait and see how everything plays itself out. Obviously, we'll have more NASCAR 21 Ignition stuff with the career mode and ongoing into the off season and really into the start of next NASCAR season as well. We got one time for the next NASCAR game comes out. We probably got about 10 months or so. So we'll have plenty more NASCAR 21 Ignition stuff on the channel. Hopefully they can get private lobbies so we can start to do online races. It's the only reason I haven't done any yet. It's just sad that we're 4 patches in. They have not found a way to get private lobbies in the game. I think whatever hope there was for whoever was in second place, whether it was still Kurt Busch or not, is lost if it stays green. Unless lap traffic gets hectic in front of Johnson, because they may catch the lap cars before the end. It's going to be close. But it is a 1.9 second lead for Jimmy Johnson with 15 to go. Looking good. Easy on the tires to the finish. Oh, we're pushing to the end. Nobody wants to let up now. It's that point in the race where you are just running qualifying lap after qualifying lap. Whether you're leading, you're not leading. See, you're one of the cars that has a lot of damage, and you're just trying to finish the race. Yeah, I doubt there's going to be another patch at least before Christmas. I doubt it. .300 laps complete this time by. We'll have 12 to go. 2.1 second lead for Jimmie Johnson. Looking for 3 wins in a row. Again, this will be his 5th of the chase for the first 8 chase races. He has yet to finish outside the top 10 in the chase. Crazy good consistency. He also won the regular season finale at Richmond as well on top of it. So this will be 6 wins for Jimmie Johnson. What has been an absolute hot streak. End of the season. A lot of lap cars going 2x2 up there. 11 to go. Johnson will catch them. Hopefully he doesn't get slowed up too much. If it does stay green, that is the only hope. That all those lap cars in that pack are going to race hard enough in front of the 48 of Jimmie Johnson. It's going to struggle for the 48 to get around him. Everybody's tires are getting older in the second half of this tire stint. 10 to go. Two and a half second lead. Johnson will probably get to the lap traffic next lap, which would be with 7 laps to go. Johnson got a little wiggly there in 3 and 4. Barely kept it off the wall. Still pushing hard. He just overdrove the corner a bit. Probably because of the dirty air in front of him didn't help. There's Walker, who was involved heavily in the last accident. Oh, we got a... Oh, big crash! Big crash in the dog leg! Johnson goes down to the grass to miss it. That was the dangerous thing that we were waiting on, and this is going to set up a potential restart. I don't think this is going to end the race. 172 got clobbered right in front of the championship points leader. Wild. The big one is out at Phoenix. 6, 7, 8 cars perhaps involved. Johnson obviously going to stay out of the pits. Dale Jr. is in second, has not led a lap all day. And we're going to have a restart with a few laps remaining. Really about as close to a green-white checker as you're going to get. Green flag back in the air. 3 laps to go. Green-white checker for Jimmie Johnson. Going to make sure he doesn't try to overrun turns 1 and 2 this time. Jeff Gordon in 4th. Dale Jr. again in 2nd. Kevin Harvick is the leader. And Johnson goes on to win this race. What a crucial wreck avoidance that was. A bit wide on entry into turns 1 and 2 with the older tires. 2 to go this time by. Well, Jr. used the bumper. Jeff Gordon just made a pass for 3rd on Kevin Harvick. More points for him. Junior is going to go wide off the exit of turn 2 as Gordon closes on him. Johnson pulls ahead to about a 2-3 car length lead down the backstretch. White flag off of turn 4. 3 car length lead at the line for Jimmy Johnson. Trying to survive all the late yellows. Drives it in deep into turns 1 and 2. Trying to make sure Junior's got no shot to get to the bumper. He's a half a second off the lead, just trying to hang on for second in front of Gordon. And for the second straight race, the top 3 in the point standings will finish 1, 2, 3. And for the third straight race, it'll be Jimmy Johnson going to victory lane. Dominant win, surviving the green-white checker. Johnson wins at Phoenix. Another step closer to his first career championship. And a wild finish. He was barely able to survive that wreck down the back stretch. The big one on the final closing laps. Had to go to the grass to miss it. Unbelievable. You just never know with these full races what could happen. Win number 5 in the chase for JJ. A bullish victory lap now for Johnson. That was close. That was a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be. Oh, man. Loose on me. Polish victory lap. Try not to spin the car out. What a race. You couldn't, again, I kind of stated after the second to last caution that, you know, it's not a late race, or it's not a race late in the season without some drama. And boy, did we have some drama there. Only 6 cars finish on the lead lap. And again, the top 3 in the point standings at the end of it finished 1 through 3. Jimmy Johnson with the win, 2 hours, 38 minutes time. That was elapsed on today's race. We had 3 cautions total. 3 cautions total for 9 caution laps. Only the 2 lead changes. Johnson started the pole. Gordon passed him in the pit lane. Johnson got him back about 35 laps or so after the restart in lap traffic. That was it. Those were the only 2 lead changes, but it still came down to the wire. So with those being the only 2 lead changes, the only 2 leaders were Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. So no bonus points for Dale Earnhardt Jr. with that second place finish. And a max points day, of course, for Jimmy Johnson, 190 points. Third straight, not only win, but max points day for Jimmy. Again, the 5th straight race, that he's led the most laps in as well. And Tony Stewart ends up finishing 4th. Kevin Harvick rounds out the top 5. Stewart was involved in that first caution way back at lap 39, so great rally for him. Kurt Busch, last car in the lead lap at 6th. Ryan Newman, first car lap down in 7th. Rookie Casey Kane finishes in 8th. Bobby Labonte 9th. Ricky Rudd rounds out the top 10. Other chase drivers outside the top 10 would include Matt Kenseth in 11th. Still going down the list here. Yeah, that was it, I guess. So, literally, Kenseth was the only non-chaser to finish in the top 10. He finished 11th, so all 10 of them finished in the top 11. The drivers that DNF'd, we had quite a few that wrecked out under that last caution. Oh my goodness, that was a huge crash. Kyle Petty, Elliott Sadler, Dave Dunn. I don't even know who the car... I don't know. I mean, it was a 172. I don't know who's in the 172. But we had 3 drivers blow an engine. And then at lap 309, Walker, Johnny Sotter, Davis, Reynolds, Jimmy Lane, Scott Wimmer, Jackson. 10 failed to finish. That's correct. How many were involved in that wreck then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-car pileup at the end of the race. Sadler blowing another engine. Yeah, he brought out the second caution too. He got drilled in that same spot we saw the final wreck. Jimmy Johnson in victory lane here in this one. So the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at the Darlington Raceway is the next race of the season. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's crazy drama down the stretch. Points battle not over yet with Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon finishing second and third, just only further proving that Johnson has to be on his A-game performance. Winning 3 in a row obviously is helping, but he's not growing that points lead out very much with these wins. He's got a 137-point lead over Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, 142 back in third. Casey Kane, the rookie, still in fourth with that top 10 today. Matt Kenseth still rounds out the top 5. Tony Stewart 6th, Kevin Harvick 7th, Kurt Busch 8th, Bobby Labonte 9th, Ryan Newman still rounding out the top 10. So you have to be within 312 points to mathematically have a chance going into the final 2 races. Ryan Newman, Bobby Labonte, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, all out of contention after today's race. So it's just crazy. We went with 10 drivers mathematically having a shot going in. Now 6 of them eliminated after 1 race. 4 drivers have a shot, 2 races to go. Casey Kane, of course, the long shot. He's over a race worth of points out. He's going to need something spectacular in his case to win the title as a rookie. But him being 4th in points, so again, after 8 races is just, or after, not 8 races, 32 races, it's just crazy. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, still within 1 race worth of points. They have to be within 156 points after Darlington to mathematically have a shot going into Homestead. Rusty Wallace still outside. I wanted to see where Elliott Sadler's back to 17th in points. He was in 7th. He was in 7th before these strings of DNFs happened. I think the game's like just broken in the sense that Sadler has to blow an engine like every other race, at least. Terrible. He had the double whammy today, though. He blew an engine and got involved in that final wreck. We got 2 more pole awards than Dale Jr. now. We have 8 on the year after starting on the pole and winning today's race with Jimmy Johnson at Phoenix. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you guys in the chat later tonight for the premiere of our next career mode race on NASCAR 21 Ignition for the Bushy McBush Race 400 highlights at the Kansas Speedway. I will see you guys then. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Enjoy some football. Go Pack Go, of course, as always. We'll be back better than ever tomorrow for the Southern 500. 2 races to go into crowning your champion for the chase for the next Cup.